Hello, friends, and welcome to a very special edition of Nostalgia Talk Bonus. Some videos I've done tributes to like Richard Hunt and to Jerry Jewell. This time around, I'm honoring two legends in television and puppetry, Sid and Marty Krofft. And for those of you guys who don't know who Sid and Marty Krofft were, they created H.R. Pufnstuf, Land of the Lost, Sigmund, and I think it's Sigmund and the Silly Seas.
Sea monsters.
Thank you. Um, and Mutt and Stuff in later years. Admittedly, I wasn't. That was a little bit before my time. My dad definitely remembers H.R. Pufnstuf. Um, a few years ago, Marty Krofft passed away, and just recently, Sid Krofft passed away. And because their work has become so beloved by by us as fans of nostalgia, fans of TV, and fans of puppetry, I thought it would be a good idea to honor both the Krofft brothers with a little tribute video, and we've got some guests who are helping us out with that. So, first of all, please welcome one of the first guests I ever had on Nostalgia Talk when I started back in October of 2020. He worked with Sid and Marty Krofft occasionally, and he talked about that when he came on the show all those years ago, and even to me, when the camera's not rolling, he still talks very, very highly of them. So it's a pleasure to welcome back my friend Kevin Carlson.
Hello, great to be here.
It's good to see you again, Kevin. How have you been? I
Good to
know
see you.
I mean I know the answer to that because we talk regularly. So
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, just sad about Sid, but that he was 96, right? Or 97. I mean,
mm,
he lived it, and he was sharp till the very end, so it was really I ran into him at a screening and he just was jibber jabbering away like he does.
mm. I
It
love
was
that.
great to see him. And he was so charming.
Mm. And not only do we have Kevin, but he brought a friend, another person who worked with Sid and Marty Krofft in their later career, another great puppeteer, a great actor, and a future guest on Nostalgia Talk. We were just talking about that a couple of minutes ago. We are going to have him on Nostalgia Talk, Nostalgia Talk. So let's give him a big welcome, Drew Massey.
Hey, everybody. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. And Kevin, thank you for bringing Drew on board. And also a big thanks to Alan Troutman as well for helping us out with that. Alan couldn't be here, but he has also worked with the Krofft brothers. He says hello to both of you guys and to our listeners as well. Um,
Okay, very good.
Alan, that invitation still stands to come back for this. We can do a part two. But anyway, Kevin worked with the Krofft brothers, and for anybody who doesn't know or doesn't remember from when I had Kevin on, he is a puppeteer who's had a long career in doing that for commercials, McDonald's commercials. I got all dressed up for you. Um,
Thanks.
so McDonald's commercials, The Muppets, Henson, various stage shows and TV projects and films with Henson. He did a little bit of work with Sesame Street. He was on Imagination Movers as Warehouse Mouse. He puppeteered Dr. Colosso on The Thundermans. And of course, he co-created, co-wrote, and co-starred in The Adventures of Timmy the Tooth. Drew worked with the Krofft brothers a little later in their career on Mutt and Stuff. Kevin worked with the Krofft brothers on DC Follies and the Toby Terrier video series. So let's get started. Let's go a little bit back in time. Were you guys like, because obviously Jim Henson was a big inspiration to you guys, Kevin. I know you worked with Jim towards the end of his, not just the end of his career, but the end of his life. Um, were you guys watchers of the Krofft brothers' work?
I was, yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite shows was Lidsville, when there was just a bunch of hats that were characters, and
That's
that
so
was
funny.
great.
That was my favorite too.
I can
Oh
see
yeah,
why.
stop.
Don't know why. Yeah.
No, and then Sigmund and the Sea Monsters was huge too. I always remember just thinking that what a clever show, and how long can they keep Sigmund hidden from the world, So, but I was going to say the Krofft brothers offered up a workshop for puppeteers back in the 80s.
Right, I
And
remember you telling me that.
right. And so like they only chose like 20 people out of like 400 people who tried out for it. And so I got into it. It was great. Me and Bruce Lanoil and Alan
And
Troutman.
Alan, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Harden, Terry Castillo, Clint Richards, Todd Maddox, a couple others, Kerry Katz, Wayne Katz, and Yeah. So it was a great group of people, and they did this 7 week a workshop where we worked with Tony Urbano, who was pretty much teaching us all. And Tony Urbano's still around. He's great. And so yeah, that it was fun to get our start with the Krofft Brothers, and then quickly moved into a show called the Oral Roberts special thing that had puppets in it. And my first role was Grandpa Fudge, as the Fudge family, and they set up things that he could preachify about. So that was my first job. I got my after card from it too, so it was huge.
That's
What about
great.
you? What about you, Drew? Were you a Krofft Brothers watcher?
Oh, absolutely. Because basically, when I grew up in the '70s, I was, really young, but I remember they owned Saturday morning.
Oh yeah.
Like they had a full block on of just all Krofft shows, and I was like, these are amazing. They're clearly done for like $5 each. I mean, it costs way more than that, but it was like clearly they had a budget that they were sticking to. But man, they did so much with what they had, and I remember being really inspired by it because it was like the early days of compositing and video compositing, and I remember seeing like the opening for Land of the Lost, and I'm like, well, clearly that's somebody's bathtub. It's not a real river, right? Because the water's huge and the people are really small. But I was like, wow, that is really cool. You can just like compose. I was like really interested in seeing. I loved that you could see how they were doing it as they were doing it, because it wasn't like super polished. But to me, like as a kid at home, I was like, that's super inspirational. And then they're making all these puppets and walk around suits, and it had a really like handmade quality to it, all their shows. And then they got some amazing writers too, like on Land of the Lost. I think they had some writers who had written for Star Trek, and they were pretty good shows, a bunch of them.
I think there's been a lot of people that have began their careers or worked for the Kroffts at some point, because they were like you said, they owned Saturday morning, and they had a lot of shows going. And
well, not only did they own Saturday morning, sorry to interrupt, but then I learned that they produced the Donnie and Marie show as well. So
I didn't know. That's crazy.
They had these amazing, like hugely successful primetime shows as well.
As Barbara Mandrell, the Barbara Mandrell show. And then as an offshoot of that show, yeah. I got to go on tour with Truck Shackley and the Texas Critters.
That's great.
And so I played Truck Shackley in that. It was really fun. It was a great experience because it wasn't like a bus and truck tour. We would fly to the location and then fly home, and then in a couple of days we'd go fly somewhere else to do a show. And it was really fun. And people were lining up for autographs and stuff. That was like the first time I've ever had to like do autographs. With what? Oh, people want that? Okay.
Suddenly you're famous.
Yeah, didn't charge them. Should have. Didn't.
That's amazing. What were you, 12 when that happened, Kevin?
I was 12.
Yeah.
I was 12.
I
had a parent guardian, so it was good. No, I'm kidding. No, in fact, Bruce Allen, myself, Clint, Wayne Katz, a couple other guys too. I mean, we were kind of the new puppeteers for the Kroffts. Tom Fountain.
Tom.
Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing because that's how our careers got started, really, with the Kroffts.
Nice. Kevin, I know from you, the first time you met them, and you brought that up doing that workshop. Drew, do you remember the first time you met the Kroffts?
Yeah. Yes. I think. Actually, I guess I don't.
It's okay.
I remember like later they were doing Mutt and Stuff, and so I just, that was like 2014, I think. And I remember auditioning for that, and then getting in, and Marty, who's really old school. I mean, he's great. He's like, I like you. There's something about you that's, I don't know. You're great. And then we ended up doing like 3 pilots for that show. Nickelodeon needed a lot of convincing. So in all sorts of like various configurations, and then I remember the stuff suit, the giant dog, initially did not have servos in it. It was just me standing behind Megan, who was in the suit, and I was like jamming my arm right past her neck and like working the mouth.
Old school.
Yeah, old school. I was like, this is so Krofft. I love it. This is
Kind of like
exactly
a weirder version of how Marty Robinson does Snuffy with Bryant Young.
yeah, much weirder because I had to stay hidden behind the suit rather than in it. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. And then yeah, I really was happy to get to know Marty. I never really spent a lot of time with Sid, but Marty and I spent a lot of time, and we rode in a. I remember that he was just so full of stories all the time.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
riding to the airport with him once, and like we were going through Hollywood, and he's like, "Yeah, you see that building there? That was an apartment where Judy Garland was, and Sid and I went up and had a cocktail." And it was just like everything is like pointing and like just name dropping like crazy. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They sound. That was actually going to be my next question. What were they like? Because Kevin, you were saying that Sid was always so full of life, even towards the end of his life as well.
Right. He was the creative, and Marty was more the business guy. So Sid would come in and go, I need balloons. Are there balloons here? Or where are the ducks? I asked for balloons and ducks. Where are they? Who hello? Who's gonna get fired?
Oh my God.
And Sid kind of had talked like that a little bit. Not like I just did.
So one's the softer one, so one's the soft-spoken one, and the other one's the loud
Right.
storyteller.
And then on DC Follies, they actually had puppets of them, and they worked like a news booth, and they would just be fighting, bickering the whole time. It's funny.
That's
Funny
great.
stuff.
Yeah,
So-
Mutt and Stuff. We had the Sid and Marty trees that would go
Yeah.
back and forth.
So for both of you guys, because again, I know you guys worked with them individually, but like, how surreal was it for you guys to be like working? Because they always say never meet your heroes, honestly, and it's a good thing I have a bleeper. Those people who believe that. Clearly, they haven't met anyone like Sid and Marty Krofft from how you're describing them. But how surreal was it for you guys to finally get to work with these icons whose work you had grown up watching?
Oh, I think at first you're like, starstruck a little bit, like, ooh, but then when you get into the work, it just that kind of goes away because you get focused on what you're doing. So it's cool. But it is fun to listen to some of like the Hollywood stories that both of them would share all the time. In fact, one time I was helping Sid cast puppeteers for their live show in Vegas, which was an offshoot of DC Follies. And so they were bringing in puppeteers. And I just remember Sid, one of the things he said, I just scratching my head. He goes, yeah, in Las Vegas, the food is great. And there's 3 buffets. And so you don't have to worry about the expense of food because it's so good. And it's just, I don't know if you've ever been to a buffet in Las Vegas.
I've never even been to Las Vegas.
Okay, well, just so you know, it's like cafeteria. But so Sid, I remember just listening to him sell this to the puppeteers that he might consider, and just going, well, that's not exactly true. I almost said, yoo-hoo. No, it's not really true. I didn't. And that show was fairly successful in Vegas, but I only ran for, 6 months, something like that.
Yeah, I think Sid.
I remember I went to the show and I saw it. And I remember watching this kind of Las Vegas person, tourist come in and sit down. He goes, where are the because they're puppets.
Yikes.
I said, it's not that kind of show. It's puppets. The Pope does a bingo show.
They had that kind of show though. Like,
there was a showgirl, but I think she was not like fully topless. But it just kind of, that's the Vegas mentality, kind of.
Looks like I know where they got the idea for Avenue Q from.
Yeah, they do have a marionette that I think might still be in Marty's office of a showgirl. I think from Poupée de Paris, which was the traveling marionette show, and she has boobs that turn into maracas. They actually pop off her body. Anyway, it's nuts. But
I want to see that.
No, there was some risque puppets. They actually did have topless puppets in Poupée de Paris.
Yeah, that was a huge success.
It
Put them on the
was.
map, really. I mean, Sid
Yeah.
had been doing puppets for a long time, but then they sold that show and it was huge. At World's Fair? Was it the World's Fair, I
I
think?
think it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not sure what
yeah.
year, but yeah.
So that was like the thing to see. Ooh, puppets that have maracas.
Yeah.
Mhm. Drew, what about you? Like, because you said that they dominated Saturday morning, and so for you, what was that like to finally be able to work with them? Like, oh my God, I'm working with my heroes. What was that
Well,
like?
it was really great. I mean, I had heard so many stories from Kevin and Alan over the years, and Bruce. Um, so I sort of knew what to expect, but it no, it was great, and there it was great, and then there were times where you like saw behind the curtain, and you're like, huh, I had a dressing room right next to Marty's office, and the walls were not the thickest. And so he would get loud at people over the phone sometimes, which was very interesting because he's real old school. He was just like making deals and convincing people to, give him the, certain breaks on whatever. And he was a real producer's producer, which, eh, I went to his funeral service, and it was amazing like how many people showed up there, that like Pamela Adlon was there and J.J. Abrams, and it was just like a
Wow.
crazy who's who of. Yeah, it was really interesting, but he it really led a fascinating fascinating life. There's a there's a book too. It's The Puppeteer and the Playboy Model, I think.
Oh,
I don't know.
did you see
There's a
me
book
there?
out there.
I
What's
was
that?
there at the funeral too. Did we
Yeah, yeah.
talk at the funeral?
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
don't
we
remember
said
you.
hi. uh,
Eh.
I was with
Yeah, it was
Nicolette, so
lovely to
he
hear,
was looking at me.
uh, to see the softer side of him too with his grandchildren and
Yeah,
he had a lot of wisdom too. I mean, Marty
a
did,
lot.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't get to know Sid very well either, but
I
he was,
love that one of you got to know one and the other got to know the other.
yeah. Well, I think we both knew Marty more than we did Sid, but
Okay.
Sid is, I was just amazed that he was doing stuff up until the very end. He was doing his Sundays with Sid on Instagram, and he would interview like Paul Rubens and all kind of Toily, Grant Pachoko's Toily
Yeah,
character, and he had a lot of friends and stuff. And so it's just amazing that he was, still doing that stuff and in his 90s. That's a tribute to his a life well lived, definitely.
absolutely. And he was the older brother. Like he was Marty's older sibling, which was incredible. I guess he went to the gym all the time and had health shakes every day, and
He had
lived
a restaurant.
comparatively a stress-free life
Yeah, he
compared to
had a
Marty.
restaurant too. Do you remember he had a restaurant which was like a real
No.
earthy kind of organic, a lot of wheat sprouts and stuff like that, and energy drinks or whatever. So, yeah, he
Wow.
was into health for sure.
Very cool. But
Um,
yeah.
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no, it was fine. But yeah, just getting to know the both of them. I think I worked with the two of them the most on the reboot of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters for Amazon,
Oh,
um,
that's cool.
which was a really fun project.
Mm. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you had watched that show and then to go and do the reboot. I mean, talk about surreal. But you also mentioned Land of the Lost, and I mentioned that one in the intro. I didn't write this in the Q&A, but I am kind of wondering, have either of you guys seen the Will Ferrell movie Land of the Lost that was based on the show? Oh, you have?
Oh yeah,
I skipped it.
yeah. I saw it. I could see what they were going for.
They made it look so much more. I didn't watch it in full, but I remember when it came out, they made it look so much more intense.
Yeah, well, that was the weird thing about it. Is like tonally it was all over the map, because it was on one hand more intense, and then on the other hand it was way more goofy and less serious. So, I just don't think it quite gelled. And then I think they really didn't stick to the mythology of the show as much as they should have, because that was really what drove it, and the family too. You know,
Hmm.
um, Marshall, Will, and Holly. And so, without that family dynamic, because I think they were just like scientists and a amusement park operator who were just kind of thrown together.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
been done with Jurassic Park.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Um. So I hope they redo it in a serious way and really honor the original material, because that could be really, really good.
I watched Will Ferrell on Conan promoting the movie when it came out, and like Conan introduces him. He's got a new movie coming out called Land of the Lost. Please welcome Will Ferrell, and they get to talking about it, and then Conan's like, "By the way, I remember a Saturday morning show from when I was a kid called Land of the Lost. Is this based on that?"
Yeah,
To a degree.
what was his answer?
Will
It's like,
Ferrell was like,
not
oh yeah,
really.
absolutely."
Oh.
Yeah.
For Kevin, when you and I started talking about doing this, you had mentioned that you worked with the Krofft brothers on the Toby Terrier videos, which I knew you were Toby Terrier, but I didn't know that was a Krofft brothers thing. I actually have a tape that has those commercials. Toby, Toby, I love you so, 'cause I'm a part of your show. And the reason I knew it was you is because I know your voice, and like
Oh, yeah.
Toby Terrier does sound a lot like Timmy the
Tim,
Tooth, like that
he
kind of.
does, doesn't he?
Yeah, kind of like a mix of Robin the Frog and
Yeah, a
Gobo.
little bit of that. Yeah, I agree.
That meek kind of sound. What was it like to do that series?
Oh, it was great. First of all, we had John Paragon, who played Zombie in Pee-wee's Playhouse. He was a
Oh,
writer
wow.
and from the Groundlings, and he wrote the first episodes of that show. And the table reads were great. I mean, it was like we didn't have to like work that hard because it was written really well, and it was really. I was so thrilled to be chosen as the lead for that. It got a little weird though. I mean, because the dog itself, the toy had a little a thing on its collar, like a viewing thing that would take cues off of the television. So if it was facing
So it was like a projector almost.
well, no, it the the
It was
television would give
AI.
it cues. Yeah. So and
30
each
years
show,
before that became a thing. Wow.
yeah, it was with Tiger Electronics, right? I guess. And so Toby Terrier would say, "I love you," and then the dog would say, "I love you too." It's like that weird kind of, it was interactive, I
Talking
guess.
to itself.
Yeah, and then it had like servos, so it would do little waggy tail stuff, and it was crazy. It got a little sappy towards the end, I thought, but at the same time, it was really fun. It's about these dogs that run a television station. I mean, a lot of skits and funny things like that.
It's not to love about
So
that.
yeah,
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of dogs, I mean, like, and of course, I got mine right over here. Drew, you of course worked with them with the Krofft brothers a little later in their career on Mutt and Stuff, and you went into quite a few details about that. What was it like to kind of work with them at that time?
It was really cool. They were, trying to figure out what their next phase of creation should be. So they were trying to reboot a lot of stuff. And as I said, they had done like 3 pilots for Mutt and Stuff. They actually continued doing pilots. There was another unaired pilot for the Bugaloos. They were going to redo that. And they got a whole cast together. And I personally, I was thrilled because during the casting process for that, they brought in master songwriter Charlie Fox. I don't know if you know his work. Well, you know it if you grew up in the '70s, because he wrote the theme songs to Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Love American Style, The Love Boat, Wonder Woman. I
Hi,
mean, the list
Dad, if
goes
you are
on and
watching
on and on.
this.
Like, wow. So he walked in the room and was like, "Is that Charles Fox?" I was like such a fanboy. I geeked out over it, but it was really cool because they know everybody, and so they have friends everywhere. So it was really cool getting to see and work with a lot of people who would, just show up. Paul Rubens was one of them because he loved Krofft stuff. Like so many people who grew up watching Krofft stuff were such fans, and they would, want to be involved with Krofft stuff. So they got really fun guest stars on Mutt and Stuff, and Mutt and Stuff was amazing. Like they always say, don't work with animals and kids and puppets. And this show had all three. I was like, I don't know how this is even getting made. You guys are fantastic. Like, this is an unproducible show that you're turning out every week.
That's
Wow,
good.
I mean, hats off to you guys.
Does it still air? Is it on Nickelodeon or on Paramount Plus or?
Who knows what's on
It was a
Paramount?
Nickelodeon show.
I'm gonna Google this. Yeah, it was a Nickelodeon show. Let's see.
So it
And
might
one of
be
my
on-
one of my friends texted me. I will answer that later. Okay, so I don't know about the States, but here in Canada, it is available on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Cool.
okay. Mutt and Stuff.
Yeah,
Good.
it's a great show. It's really fun.
So the residuals are flying in, right, Drew?
flying in from Canada.
So,
Yeah.
Did you guys like towards the Krofft brothers' later life? Did you have much of an interaction with them at all?
Just on sets mostly.
Okay.
And then like craft service, and then having lunch.
Or
But-
Krofft service?
Krofft service. So if you sat next to Marty at like having lunch, he was a voracious eater. He would I mean, he would get food on you if you were too close to him. Which,
He also had a thing about temperature of his food.
oh yeah.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I remember he's like, I want a Salisbury steak, but I don't want it normal temperature. I want it like as hot as the surface of the sun. And if it's a degree under, I'm sending it back. I'm like, cool.
These pancakes are too cold. I need hot ones. They're called hot cakes for a reason.
I love that.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Drew, did you have much of an interaction with them
Oh.
after Mutt and Stuff?
Yeah, tons. Well, because they kept doing pilots. They did another pilot with Mayim Bialik, which was like a science show, which is really cool.
Having
yeah,
her
I mean,
back in the science area, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, they kept creating stuff and doing things, and there was a workshop that I was using for a while that was right next to their archive facility, and the archive thing was really cool because you'd go in there and there was all this original artwork from all of their shows, and they have like videotapes and scripts and puppets, and it was just an amazing. You walk in there and you're like, this is a fantastic, you should open this as a museum, it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, Marty was great. I'd go in every once in a while and just have meetings, and he's like, we're gonna do a thing and I want you to be involved because you're family, and so we're gonna do this thing. And I was like, oh, okay. Like whatever it was. But he just liked meeting people and making deals, and yeah, I would definitely stay in touch. And his daughters are awesome and lovely, and they're running the business now. And Deanna's really running it, and Kendra is a makeup artist, and Christina is acting, and yeah, so
A good family.
yeah, it's a good family. It's got good kids.
Good kids. Are they still at CBS Radford?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah,
So
and now everybody's in the same spot because like the
Hensons
Hensons
are there.
moved in above and around. So yeah,
So maybe there'll be more puppet stuff coming up in the next few months, huh?
yeah. Hopefully,
Anybody
so.
who is watching this, be on the lookout.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to wrap it up, I think this is kind of a good way to finish off. For both of you guys, what do you think you learned from working with the Krofft brothers? Like, how do you feel working with them really kind of helped your craft in puppetry?
Well, for me, it was I got my start with them, basically. I got my first job with them, but the workshop was really impressive because they had June Foray, who does the voice of
Rocky the Flying Squirrel.
yes,
Yeah.
very good. And she came in for like character voices and things, and they had a couple theater type director types who would work with us, and I learned so much from that because it was a specific puppetry workshop, which helped really develop the skills that we needed, you know. So yeah, I'm truly thankful for them, and Tony Urbano too, who ran the workshop, because he gave me a couple of McDonald's commercials that pretty much at the time, yeah, uh, Fry Kids and McNuggets and things, which, you know, made some money from that. I mean, back in the day when you could make a living doing commercials. One time I had 3 or 4 McDonald's commercials going at the same time, and the mailbox was pretty full. So, so I was able to buy a house and get married and the whole thing, you know. So I owe a lot to them for, you know, actually recognizing that we can have a career as a puppeteer in film and television, you know. And you know, I don't do a lot of acting, but we're just actors that have a specialty. So they helped you realize that. And I've had a 40-year career doing puppets. So I'm grateful. Grateful.
Drew, what about you?
I loved that Marty was so inclusive. Like he really, if he spotted something in you that he liked, he would, you know, hang on to you and ask your input. And he seemed to me to be very collaborative, and I always loved being included in stuff. He
Yeah.
was yeah, he was really good with that. So, and with Mutt and Stuff, I still say to this day, Stuff was one of my favorite characters that I've ever played because he was the dumbest. And just being a big dumb dog was so freeing, and it was so much fun to, you know, meet Megan. Godfrey was in the suit, and she was just a fantastic. And Scott Johnson built the suit with some others, and it was a really fun thing to do, and you know, Sid and Marty made it all happen, and it was good times. And just for me, I loved just being on the controllers and improving with Megan, and then it was just great trying material in front of the crew, cracking wise.
I love that.
Megan. Sorry, I've been saying her name wrong. Megan Godfrey.
Well, that's all I've got here. Is there anything you guys want to say to wrap up?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
This is great.
That was fun, James.
Of course, it was
forward to doing an episode.
Yeah, Kevin, it was great to have you back on. Drew, I'm looking forward to having you coming on Nostalgia Talk, and I will get in touch with you about that soon. To our listeners, thank you for taking this time to remember 2 great legends of, like I said before, television and puppeteering. For those of, I don't want to say those of us, because I grew up in the 2000s, but for those of you who grew up with Sid and Marty Krofft's work, it's definitely left an impression on you. H.R. Pufnstuf, Land of the Lost, the TV show, not the Will Ferrell movie, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, and Mutt and Stuff. These are guys who just, you know, we remember them for the work that they put in to make us happy. So thank you guys for being a part of this moment with us. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.